We are confident that the worst is behind us and the end of load shedding is finally within reach. That's the quote from President Cyril Ramaphosa, who made this statement during the 2024 State of the Nation address. But in less than 48 hours, Eskom announced stage 6 load shedding, plunging the country into long hours of darkness. We have in studio to bring us to speed and help us make sense of this, energy expert Mthunzi Luthuli. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. The worst is not quite behind us, is it? I mean, listening to President Cyril Ramaphosa deliver that speech, one would have thought that stage 6 load shedding, for the first time this year, being experienced right after those remarks, doesn't inspire much confidence.
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers, Mpho. It definitely does not inspire confidence. You know, I think South Africans need to come to terms with the fact that the ANC is not going to solve this problem, okay? Because we've had load shedding since 2007, 2008. So it's 15 years, more than 15 years that we've had load shedding now. Yeah. It's not going to fix, the ANC is not going to fix this problem, either because of ineptitude or because it's deliberate. And many of us are saying this problem is actually deliberate. It's a manufactured problem in order to justify bringing in the private sector into the power, into the electricity industry. That is actually what's happening. Now, if Eskom is working perfectly, the reason for bringing in the private sector disappears. Okay, so in order to bring in the private sector, Eskom must be made or must be seen to be underperforming. So this problem is actually deliberate. You have, Eskom has 45,000 megawatts of installed capacity. We are failing to meet a peak demand of 26,000 megawatts. That problem is not an engineering problem, it's a political problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As you say that, I mean, you say under the ANC that, you know, this now points to a deliberate issue when it comes to resolving the load shedding crisis in the country. It's interesting you say that. I mean, just yesterday we heard EFF leader Julius Malema at his election manifesto say, should the EFF come into power, this problem will be resolved in a matter of 6 months. Is there accuracy in that? Is it possible to resolve the load shedding crisis in a period of 6 months?
Look, given the state of the coal fleet at the moment, I don't think it's possible to do it in 6 months. But you could do it in 2 years, most definitely. Okay. What needs to happen is that the 15,000 megawatts or so, that is breakdowns, okay? Those units, what needs to happen is that they need to be refurbished properly. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you need to allocate funds for the refurbishment of those units. You set up an engineering and project management unit within Eskom that will be solely focused on making sure that those units are properly refurbished and brought back online reliably. Mm-hmm. So, you know, each unit could take, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months to bring online. So, let's say you take, I don't know, 8 units at a time, or 6 units at a time, and you refurbish them over a period of 6 months, you bring them online, you take the next 6 to 8 units, and you do it like that over a period of 2 years, yeah. You would get rid of load shedding, without having to build long transmission lines into the middle of the Karoo to connect renewables that are unreliable and intermittent. Okay, mm-hmm. This is the quickest solution, actually, to end load shedding. But government is not doing it. You know, and the reason, what is the reason? There is no reason except that they want to fabricate a crisis so that they can bring in their friends into the power sector. Mm. That is the problem.
So as you try and assess some of the reasoning, I mean, the Sunday Times says Eskom has now blamed its descent into stage 6 load shedding on a perfect storm of non-performing renewables, critically low levels of pumped water used to generate hydroelectric power in peak hours, and units failing at various power stations. Does that sort of make sense as you look at the impact of load shedding and what has now brought back stage 6? I mean, it all seemed great right after the SONA, stage 4, now we're on stage 6.
Yeah. So the first reason, non-performing renewables, we've always known that. Okay, renewables are not ideal for large-scale or utility-scale power generation. They're not. They have low capacity factors. Solar has a capacity factor of 25% in South Africa and 32% on wind. That means they only generate electricity 25% of the time. If you think about it, we started with this renewables program around 2012, I think. Since then, we've commissioned about 400 billion rands worth of renewables projects. Okay? But the problem is not getting better. Instead, it's getting worse. You see, so we've always known that renewables will not solve the problem. You can't have a system that is unreliable, unstable, and then bring in unreliable, intermittent renewables to fix the problem. It makes absolutely no sense. What you need to do is you need to stabilize the system by using conventional, reliable power generation sources that provide electricity 24/7. Once you have a stable system, then you can slowly and strategically bring in renewables. That's the way actually to do it, not this mess that the government is. The second reason is not a good reason. The reason given by Eskom that they have to replenish the pumped hydro schemes, because that's just an operational thing. As the normal cause of operating the system, you have to replenish your dam levels. That's always been done. You do it during off-peak periods, in the middle of the night, and on weekends when demand is low. So that's not a good reason. The third reason is the breakdowns, the perennial program that Eskom has.
As you say, I mean, that you're of the view that this is deliberate, and of course you bring in the corruption factor, those suggestions. We're in an election year, and you say this has now moved from a technical to a political problem. Why would it... surely the party, the ANC, wants to impress. They want to woo voters. If this is really political, surely this would be the opportune moment to show how excellent the system can work, because we're going into elections as soon as that date is announced this year.
Yeah. Look, I can't speak for them, and I don't know exactly what the thinking is, but my suspicion is that, it could be that, look, the elections could go either way. If we are out, or we have to be out after the election, at least let's do as much as we can now, in terms of, delivering on the plan and the promise, whoever they promised. Yeah. So that could be the reason.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it. Well, Electricity Minister Mthunzi Luthuli, he's expected to brief the media today. We know that we have been hearing, he's had these presses over the past few weeks, just giving an update on what has been fixed, which power stations are working, at what level, at what capacity. What are you expecting to hear from him today as we head into this problem, right on the back of the worst is behind us?
Yeah, these press briefings by the Minister of Electricity, in fact, I don't know what the point of these briefings are. They just give excuses for the problems that are there. And some of us think that it's the minister, trying to profile himself and sounding clever. We don't need these. What we need is less talk and action, and more action. What should be happening is that he should be focusing on getting Eskom to fix the units that are not working. Like I said, they should be setting up a dedicated engineering and project management office at Eskom to look at a proper refurbishment of all of these units and get them to work. That's what we need. We don't need these meaningless press briefings. We need action and less talk.
Yeah, but at the same time, South Africans are left at the destitute. I mean, they now suffer and bear the brunt of not having electricity, business, the economy. It doesn't look good for business people, especially small businesses who are trying to make means and ensure that they can provide for their customers. Where does it leave South Africans, the situation? I mean, it seems like an entire reversal. For the first time this year, we're experiencing stage 6 load shedding.
Yeah. It's very sad. I mean, as if, South Africans haven't suffered enough. Businesses, I mean, we came out of COVID. Businesses suffered during COVID, and now they have to endure this load shedding. Children can't go to or can't study. Criminals run amok in the dark.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And it's sad that our politicians, are putting the country through such misery. It's really, really sad.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us in studio. The energy expert Mthunzi Luthuli, helping us make sense of the return of stage 6 load shedding, what he believes is the reason behind it, and some suggestions put forward to try and fix this situation.